In the series SSB Made Simple, I am now on Interview Made Simple. Now let's quickly revise that what is SSB looking for in an interview. The psychologist is concentrating on the outputs of your subconscious without interacting with you, just based on psychometric tests. The group testing officer is checking your group activities, behavior and communication. But here the interviewing officer is going to assess the same officer-like qualities by way of conversation. Now, the technique of this interview is called semi-structured interview, in which there is a definite structure. The interviewing officer will ask you questions only on certain topics. But then within that, based on your response, he has got to get into those responses and whys of them, so that he can actually understand your thinking, your thought process. And then you do not have time to make up the responses in conversation. Now whatever is asked to you, you have to reply it back immediately, promptly. And that's where the interviewing technique brings out the personality traits that the interviewing officer is looking for. So without wasting any time, let's quickly go through the topics that are covered, the kind of things that the interviewing officer is trying to look, and in the end, what we will see is how to prepare for this. So let us first go about what are the topics. The topics of the interview are based on the PIQ form that you fill in. Therefore, fill in the PIQ form appropriately. A PIQ form contains details about yourself, your qualifications, your schooling, your interests, your hobbies, your co-curricular activities, etc. The next is your family. The family is important because from your answers about your family, you will be answering the questions about your sense of responsibility, about your belongingness, about your team spirit, about being trustworthy, about being communicative, among being helpful, and others. The relationship about what does your father do, how much does he earn, what does it involve, how comfortable are you financially, do you help your father, do you know what your mother does, do you help your mother, do you know what your brothers, sisters do you help them, do you have a sense of what they are going through, can you understand them, do you actually support them and help them? These are the kind of questions, insights that we are trying to get from your family background. Needless to say, your interactions should be office-like, something which the family can be proud of and you are proud of telling. The next is about your education. The institutions that you have gone through, the percentages you have got, etc. are there in the PIQ forms. Other than that, the teachers. There is no column for teachers in the PIQ form, but you will be asked questions on teachers. The aim being that we want to understand what do you appreciate in the people around you. What is your value system? What qualities you emphasize on? What is important for you? A teacher is a good teacher in case he pampers you. If that's the output, then we understand that you appreciate being pampered only. Similarly, there is no column for friends. But while you are growing up, friends are also very important. So we want to understand the kind of company you are in. We want to understand kind of activities you indulge in. We understand how you help each other, how you communicate with each other, how you support each other, how you influence each other. So these are the things that we want to understand about your education system. The next, your place. We can ask you questions about your place, the importance. We want to understand what are the things that strike you when we say what is your place famous for. If you say Indore, Indore is famous for Johnny hot dogs. And sir, what chutney he makes. Lal chutney uski sir out of the world. That's the best place in Indore to be. If that's the only thing or that's the first thing that strikes you when we talk about Indore, that actually means that you are a foodie. You love fast foods. But that's the impression that you have created. The next thing is, we will ask you questions about the society. Things that are happening around us. Things that affect us. Our sense of responsibility, our belonging to a community, our belonging to a nation. We want to know what is happening in our nation. How do you analyze it? How you interpret it? Do you have the sufficient logics and reasonings to support your analysis? Do you have sufficient information? Do you pay heed to all this that affects your society in day-to-day life? The next thing that we would also like you to know is international affairs. The international events that affect you, your society, is an important issue that any intelligent person must understand. And this knowledge of analysis, being able to apply on ground, also relates to your application of knowledge, your concepts which are taught in the class, in the school, in the colleges, which are your subjects, as to how they actually get implemented or effective on ground. That's yet another important thing for an interviewing officer to assess from you. In fact, one of the interviewing officers told me very clearly that analysis of international situation or current affairs question actually allows me to select 25 to 30% of the candidates, or maybe 25 to 30% of my assessment is based on just one topic, that is international events. And therefore, another quality that is checked is organizing ability. The ability to organize any event is an important quality in an officer. Right now, we are not looking for the perfect officers, but we are looking for reasonably balanced officers who have got some exposure into organizing. Because if you have this leadership trait of organizing things, you would be involved somewhere in organizing sports events, organizing fests, organizing Sangeet in your family, organizing Ganpati Puja or Navratri, whatever happens in your mohalla, organizing picnics, organizing competitions. All those things are a clear-cut display of your officer-like qualities that you have. And therefore, not last but the least, the ability to connect everything that you have learned, be in your subject, be in your sports, be in your hobby, be in your current affairs preparations, be in your knowledge of the nation, the policies, everything as it relates to my society, as it relates to the individuals, as it relates to real life is important. And if you can do all this, communicate it effectively, we would actually be very impressed with you and take you to be a candidate worth getting recommended for being an officer in the army. Needless to say, all this requires good communication. Your ability to converse effectively, your ability to understand the question, your ability to answer in the required details without being verbose. Be brief, to the point. Don't miss a point, but don't drag it on. Be crisp, be clear, be concise, be brief, and be effective. If you can practice all this, if you can display all this, the interview is a cakewalk. And let me tell you, the interview is the test out of the three, the JTO, the psychologist, and the interview, which actually selects maximum candidates. The maximum rejections are in psychology. We had discussed the psychology and we actually understand how to go about it. In the next one, I would like to sum up in the next video that I am going to release shortly. I would like to sum up the process of preparation that we recommend for SSB. If you have any questions, please give in the comments column. We would be looking forward to those questions and I would include their answers in the next show. Thank you.